inkproducts.com has now released its newest CIS Black Tower ink tank system for the Canon TS9020, TS8020, and also the 5020 and the 6020. Now you're going to get all the parts and pieces. It's a very simple install, very simple. Now the first time when you take it out of the box and unpack it, I want you to lay it down like this. This is going to rock it. Take any ink that got in the isobaric chamber. Now as the ink level goes down, you're going to get this little viewer here. When it gets to about here, there's a little mark here. That's the time you should add ink. Very simple. All you do is plug the back hole, open a big hole. You can pour the ink in. You can use tip and pour caps. You can use a syringe. You can actually, the hole is quite large. You can actually just pour the ink in from the bottle. Now one thing you will have to supply is a black little paper clip. I'm going to show you how that's going to work. Comes all pre-filled, pre-primed. You don't have to do anything. Okay? So now I'm going to come over here to the TS9020. I'm going to open it up. Now when the cartridges come over, I'm going to take out the Canon cartridges. Now, I recommend that you don't use them up. In other words, save them. They're always good for testing later on, rather than going out and buy another whole set. All you want to do is put them in and run, 10 copies, 10 different things, and check to make sure the printer's working. Okay. Got to grab a hold of it. There you go. There you go. There. Now, normally I have you unplug it right now, and then you can install the system. Now, inside here, in there, is the printhead. And by the way, the printhead does come out. Okay? It does come out. But we're not going to take it out. There's no reason to. And there's little gaskets around the microscreen. Okay? We don't want to take them out. We're not going to replace any gaskets. Not like some of the older Canons where you had to replace the gaskets. On the TS series, we found that you don't have to. So everything's fine the way it is. You're going to be installing a bracket. That's going to go right here. Now the end of that bracket is going to go right up against the little piece of plastic where the finger hole where you lift the lid is. So when it goes in, you're going to peel it and stick it. It's going to stop right there. Now the edge of this bracket is going to go right here on the edge, right here. So you're going to peel it, line it up, and then stick it down, just like that. Also, you're going to get these things. They're called lid standoffs. There's a screw down here on each side, right here. I don't know if you can see it. Let me open the top up a little bit more. There it is, right there. And these are going to go right over the top like this, right next to it. As far down as you can push it. You got one there, and you're going to have the same thing on the right side. Just split it, got a little split, line it up, push it down. Now, that is to protect the lid from going down all the way. Now, it's going to go down that far, which is awesome. Okay, because there's no room in this printer. If we close that lid all the way, there is no possible way you could put a hose in there. Now we're using a new memory hose. Very unique. It's only for the Canon printers. There again, I'll peel that tape off the bottom, line it up with my finger to the outside, and stick it down like that. Now one more thing we're going to supply. This is called an interlock override. That's going to stick right there, right on the edge. I'll show you that in a minute. that little piece that comes down. Gonna stick right like that. Because down inside here, it's a little slot opening. And that's where the lid goes in and triggers the switch. Well, because we're opening it up a little bit, we need to put this extension piece on. So you'll get that in the kit. You're gonna peel and stick it on the outside here. It's gonna be flush with your finger. I use my thumb like that, nice and flush, not sticking over this way or too far back. And it's got a slight bend to it. That's because when you close it, it's got to go in that slot. Sometimes it'll, if it's not right, it'll hit here. You don't want that, because then it's not going to trigger it. So like I said, you're going to peel it and stick it right like that, all the way to the far up as it can go, and that'll trigger that lid when it comes down. I stuck it right down. As you can see, I'm touching this area right here, just by the corner, just a little bit. And I already put my side things on. Now I'm just going to go take and put this on. Like I said, it's a very simple install. Build it. I stuck it right there. Now watch this one. I release and go down. I've got it lined up so it goes right in that hole. And then you see it's going to think that the lid is down. Let me open it back up. Now this is a little tool you get for purging. Should you ever run the bottles empty, you have to purge it. Now I turn the cartridges over like this. Now I'm going to take off these clips. They come off from the front. I unsnap them. Now you might want to take that tape off and unsnap one at a time. But I usually just pull up on the tape a little bit and I unsnap them and take them all off. Well, it's ever easier because sometimes the clips are shorter. They're not this long. It doesn't really matter. But you want to take them off. And I always put a piece of paper towel down. But before we do anything, we balanced the tower. Now we're going to fold the hose like a garden hose and put that paper clip on. So when we take the orange clips off, ink's not leaking all over. Because with the video, it might take me too long and I don't want this thing going back to where the cartridge assembly shooting back to the right. Okay, so now I can get up front and click it. By the way, if you don't want to get ink on your fingers, get yourself a pair of latex gloves. But I do it all day long, and we have cleaner, so I have cleaner that's going to clean that right off. Okay, and I just take my time, and I'm going to work it back till it comes off the back here. The front, you see the way I worked it right off? So now I have it as one complete assembly. And you want to save those should you ever have to put them on and purge it. Because you actually purge right through that center hole right there. That's only if you run the bottles empty. Now I take a paper napkin and I blot it. Because what I'm going to do is I'm going to put it in my hand like this, hold it, and I'm going to flip it and put it in. I find that's to be the best. I'll bring it over and then I'll just flip it and set it down in there. Put it in, I line it up, take my time. Like I said, this is an easy install. Now I want to make sure that front's in. Because if the front doesn't go in and you click it in, it's a pain in the neck to try to get the cartridge back out again. So I got them all in there. Lock it down like that. Now I'm going to push it all the way over to the right as far as it can go. Now that's the kind of the way the hose should be. Shouldn't be like that. Should be just like that. See? Then I'll feed it through there and then out into that last hose bracket I put right here, which I lined up with this little finger cutout. Now I can take the paper clip off and then straighten out the hose. And then, like I said, put it into that main hose bracket right there. But look at the way that hose is. Okay, I don't want to see you leave the hose like that because it's going to jam up. You want to pull it so you get a little tension right on down and in. In there, lined up pretty good. Now, if you see a little air gap like that, pay no attention to it. Pay no attention. Just leave it alone. It's going to clear up by itself. That's actually a good thing. As the air travels, it goes to the cartridge, and it creates what we call an air block. So you have ink, a little bit of air, and ink. So then it's very difficult for ink to siphon backwards. So actually, a little bit like that does no harm. And you can see the way I have the hose come out. Got it right next to the printer. You're never to really lift this higher or drop it lower. Right next to the printer. Now, I'm going to go here and I'm going to open up the little air vents to the isobaric chambers. That's it. That remains open. The only time you would close that is if you're going to open up the front one. So if I was to fill it, I'd close the little one, open up the big one, and either pour my ink in, squirt it in, however you want to put it in. It's quite a large hole here. So I've actually just poured the ink in. But that's up to you. Okay, I got it all the way over. I'm going to lift it up, shut it. And also on this printer, it has an exit tray. I'm going to pull it out, because sometimes it gives you all kinds of error codes that it's in. It does it automatically, but just in case, I pulled it out. So now let me go plug it in, and we'll give it a test. I already closed the lid. If you did the hose correctly, that's the hose travel. That's all you have to do. Now, because it's new in the machine, it's going to do its setup, possibly a cleaning. I do recommend one deep cleaning after you get it set up, because what that does is primes everything up. Now, I want to point this out. This is American-made ink. This ink cannot clog a printhead. So if anybody calls me and says, oh, my printhead's clogged, but it's not from this ink. Maybe another reason, but it's not from our ink. It's American-made ink. It's a certified ink. It's awesome. Just like our Epson ink, HP ink, you know, they cannot clog. I take a Canon printer with the cartridges and a CIS on it. I put it in a warehouse and I let it sit there for 2 or 3 months in the heat, 100 degrees or more. Take it out, plug it in, and it does. I sometimes do one cleaning and then it's back printing again. So if you're getting clogging in a printhead, it's not from this ink. This printer just prints awesome. Plain paper, photo paper. It even prints on CDs and DVDs, which I'll show you. There's a little tray. There's a little tray that comes with it. So you can print on your CDs and DVDs. It's awesome. It's just an awesome. Canon's got some awesome prints. So I recommend the Canon printers. They're just awesome. And simple to install the CIS Black Tower system. It's just awesome the way it's coming out with plain paper. I'm really impressed with this. Kind of blew it up too much, but I wanted to do edge to edge, but I don't think I did it right. These are oranges and apples. Yeah, I think I made them too large. But look at that. Look at the quality of that. Plain paper. Look at it. I truly like these new Canons.